guys, it's Angela Dahlgren. I feel like I have not been social with you in so long. Gosh, it's been, a week or something. I had a death in the family, so I took a week off just to kind of be with my family and regroup a little bit. But I am back, and I'm so excited. As you know, we had a video out on Tuesday all about the Polynesian Village Resort. I'm doing a Facebook Live today, so it is a good day to be alive. We have a Disney dialogue question. I think Brian's going to join me today. We're going to talk news. I'm going to answer some of your questions, but I have to make sure I can see the comments, so the phone might be a little wibbly wobbly for a minute. Oh, that's not how I do it. Okay. Say hi and tell me where you're watching from, so I can see if I'm getting comments, because it seems like Facebook has just kind of changed things, and I can't tell, and it's really bothering me because I can't see your comments on my phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look on my computer for now to make sure that, you're tuning in. Oh, wait, I saw one. Hi, Sarah from Wisconsin. I went to school in Wisconsin. It was a good 4 years. Thank you for joining. Brian is here. Oh, Brian, write something because your name was there, and now I can't invite you because your picture's not there anymore. You guys, I'm like a mess today. This is what happens when I take a week off, is I'm everywhere. Hello, Tony from Texas. Hello, Paula from Canada. You're close to me. Caroline from South Carolina. I like your new hair. Thank you. The color is kind of coming out a little bit. I've had it done since August. So let me know, should I do purple again? This is such a silly question to be asking you guys, but if you think I should do purple again, let me know. I don't think my mom wants me to do purple again, but if you like it, I want to know what you think. Okay, Talana, hi Talana from Texas, and Nicole from Park Rapids, Minnesota. Representing Minnesota. Let me scroll down. Oh, Peter from Gettysburg. Janet from Chaska. We're really close. Okay, Brian, there's your name. I'm gonna invite you. Ready to go. It's gonna be fun. Let's see. Is he gonna join? Let's see. Is it gonna connect? Let's find out. And I'll scroll these comments up so I can keep up with where you are. Hi. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I have a lot of energy. I didn't even finish my coffee yet. I've
Oh
actually
no.
barely had any. It looks like a lot, but there's a lot of ice and milk in it. I'm trying to go on my computer and have it load so I can see the comments here, but my internet's just nope, not today. So I'll just keep clicking it. Oh, Joshua from Dallas. Okay.
That's what I am doing now, is trying to get the comments on here to load.
Not working for me.
There we go.
Let me start with my Disney dialogue question for you guys. If you don't know what that is, every time I do a Facebook Live, I like to ask a question to all of you because I like to hear your opinions. You're hearing me ramble all the time, and my opinions aren't even that great a lot of the time. So I like to hear from you. And I decided to kind of make it like a this or that question this week. So, Brian, you answer this too. Would you rather, for your Walt Disney World trip, stay in a suite at a deluxe resort, or would you rather eat at all of the best restaurants at Walt Disney World? Including Victoria and Albert's.
Okay, so I have questions. During the trip, do I get to eat at all of the restaurants or just however many I can fit in?
Okay, so we'll fine tune it a little bit. Say you're staying 5 days at a suite at a deluxe resort. You can have 2 meals a day during those 5 days at the nicest restaurants. What would you rather do?
I'd probably pick a suite if I'm going, especially if I'm with my family, just because my kids wouldn't enjoy or care where we were eating. Honestly, they'd rather eat at character meals or T-Rex or something like that than Victoria and Albert's anyway. So
But
I
that
feel
could
like,
include a character meal.
well, yeah, but I don't know if I'd call that some of the best dining in Disney World either.
I guess
So
it's a very relative term.
yeah,
Some people just love the pizza from Italy, and that's great to them. So there's that too.
but I'd probably still pick the suites. I like hotels. So
All right. Well, let's see what we have for answers. Hello, James. Jeff, happy anniversary, 18 years. Hi, Mom. She's joining me. Caroline says restaurants, hands down. Scott said sweet. Talana said restaurants. Jamie said sweet. My mom said the sweet. Elizabeth, restaurants. We are getting every other. Joshua said sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty evenly split, it looks like.
It is. Annika said restaurants. Sarah said sweet. Nancy says sweet. So right now, the sweets are winning. Well, I guess by 2 because you picked sweet too. What would I now? This comes down to me, doesn't it?
Sure.
Oh no, because sweet would still be winning by 1, wouldn't it? What would I do? I'd probably pick the sweet. I would. Because I'm not picky when it comes to food. I do enjoy meals immensely, but like, you know, especially with kids, it's just the more room, the better. And there's better amenities if it's a deluxe resort and a suite. And, you know, so I think I'd have to say that.
Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into resort choice too, because if you're in like, say, you're in like the Bay Lake Tower suite, then you can just walk over to the Magic Kingdom, you know, which is a big advantage compared to like a moderate or value resort, things like that. So I don't know. But I like eating at nice places. I also am never sure whether the places at Disney are what I would consider like super nice places. And I've never eaten at Victoria and Albert's or, you know, Citrico's or what is it, Monsieur Paul and Epcot, like the ones that are supposed to be the best ones, kind of. I haven't eaten at a lot of those because of the kids. So it's possible that those are comparable with really nice restaurants outside of Disney World, but like the mediocre restaurants in Disney World and mediocre restaurants in the real world, the ones in the real world tend to be better anyway. So
I kind of wonder if I have the patience for Victoria and Albert's, because don't they have like a 8-course meal or something? Like, I just don't think I could sit still for that long.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience. I would like to do it someday, but I don't know that I could ever actually bring myself to pay for it either. Every time I look at it, I look at the price and I'm like, I don't know whether I'd get that much enjoyment out of it. I'm not a super picky eater, but I don't love fish or seafood, which a lot of nicer restaurants tend to focus on that. My wife will not eat that stuff at all, so we don't eat at a lot of really nice places generally.
I'm not a seafood person either. I just didn't have it a lot growing up. My mom has shellfish allergies, so we didn't have it. My husband, though, he like loves fish. He loves king crab and all of that. Talana made a really good point as far as food. They're only a family of 3, and they're an allergy family when it comes to food, so they can eat at Disney and not really worry about allergies, which is a huge plus for so many people. My mom, you know, like I said, she's allergic to shellfish, but also like white pepper and hazelnuts could kill her. Like, she has all these allergies. And so, you know, it's really nice when the chef just comes right to the table and really listens. And that is a huge perk, I think, in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. If you have any sort of allergies, my sister-in-law has celiac disease, so she can't eat gluten really at all, or she gets sick to her stomach. And Disney World is great for stuff like that because, not only, I mean, they have a lot of that stuff set up already, but even if they don't, the chefs will, in fact, I think they're supposed to, any allergies, I think the chef is supposed to come out to the table and talk through the menu with you to tell you what you can eat, what they can make for you, and things like that. So for that, they're better than anywhere in the world.
And I'm sure that we have articles on food allergies. I'm sure we have many articles on food allergies. So if you guys ever want me to link some, or if you'd ever want Brian or I to do a video about that and just kind of how that process works when you go to order, we can definitely do that for you. Amanda wants to know, Brian, I don't think Crystal Palace Buffet, is it worth it? I think I've eaten there once. But I haven't. Have you?
Yes, I've eaten there for, I think, all 3 meals I've been there before. It's when you're talking with character meals, the value is all in the characters. The actual food is pretty negligible between most of them. There's a few that I like a little bit better. I like Garden Grill, Tusker House have a little bit different stuff, at least, than some of the others.
Oh, I love
Crystal
the garden.
Palace, yeah,
So
Crystal
good.
Palace is going to be a pretty standard buffet for Disney World. I mean, it's decent. It's not going to be great. Where you're paying for is the character interaction. It's the only place in Walt Disney World you can meet Piglet or Eeyore.
Hmm.
It's one of the few places you can meet Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. So if those characters are ones you love, then yeah, it's worth it, and the food is fine. But if just base it on the characters and don't even worry about the food.
Well, I suppose it's also just a restaurant in the Magic Kingdom too, which if you're spending the day there, it's
Hmm.
convenient
Hmm.
because you stay in the park.
And if
Um,
you're doing breakfast, you can get that 8:05 reservation, so
mhm.
that you're getting out just as the park is opening, which is really sweet.
I recommend that every time. It is worth getting up early for, especially if you're staying close to the park anyway. And then you can just go back in the afternoon and nap, which is what we did. I really like this question by Adam because I can answer it.
Yeah.
Angela and Brian, have either of you stayed on the club level of yacht or beach club, trying to talk my parents into it during our next trip in lieu of a meal plan? Um, I've stayed at beach club, and my parents have stayed at yacht club, and then I have a bunch of family members who have done club level at each of those. So they think it's really worth it, but I should mention that it was two adults and not kids. But they loved it that they could get breakfast at club level in the morning. They loved that they had snacks throughout the day. At night, they have some alcoholic beverages. Um, so definitely, like, I just love that you're staying at yacht or beach anyway, because I love that atmosphere, especially at beach. As far as club level, it just depends if you want to pay that extra, like, $100 a night, and if the benefits are worth that to you. And in
Yeah.
lieu of the meal plan, I don't know. I want to hear Brian's thoughts.
No, I haven't stayed club level. I'm actually, I'll be in Disney World in 3 weeks to shoot some more video stuff for our YouTube channel. And I am staying at a regular room at Yacht Club and a club level room at Beach Club.
You are?
So yeah, so I'll be doing a full video on club level. And I plan to test out fully how many alcoholic drinks you can get throughout the day.
So the camera's going to be like this by the end of the
And
night.
that's why I bought that big stabilizer system, so that I don't have to worry about holding it
That's
anymore.
why you bought it. Okay, I'll make
But
a note
yeah,
now.
I'll be there 4 nights, Yacht Club, Beach Club, Art of Animation, and Caribbean Beach in 4 nights.
How
So
is your family letting you do all this without?
family will not be there, which is why I can switch hotels every night. So
But like what made you decide to stay at all these Disney resorts by yourself? And how are they like, yeah, go ahead, enjoy this vacation at all these nice resorts?
well, it's not a vacation, and TouringPlans is the one who decided where I was staying. It's not me. So
Well, gosh, I want your job, Brian.
so yeah, I'm
If
covering.
you're listening to TouringPlans next time, I want to go instead of Brian because he's having too much fun.
Yacht Club, where I'm covering, they redesigned their rooms like similar to Pop Centuries. They took out all the carpeting and everything, so we need coverage of that. Beach Club, we wanted to cover one of the club levels, and that was the most the I can't even use the word cheapest because the rooms are not cheap under any circumstances, but it
No.
was the most affordable of the club level. Art of Animation, we just haven't been in the Little Mermaid rooms in a while, and the Caribbean Beach. I'm going to do some videos and probably some blog posts about how the construction is affecting the resort, because driving by Caribbean Beach, it looks like a mess. When you drive in, you're driving straight at the mounds of dirt and construction vehicles. It's the least pretty view I've ever seen on a Disney hotel right now. So we're doing that to see how it actually is affecting when you're staying there. So
Well, I just, you know,
that's why.
Are guests getting much of a discount for like how unaesthetically unpleasing it is?
The room rate I got was not fantastic. I mean, it wasn't great. I want to say it was 168, I think, for the night. And that was an annual pass holder discount. So it's a little cheaper, but I mean, I could have gotten another moderate for 190 something, I think. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that much cheaper. So we'll see. I'm curious to see whether they offer me anything else, especially if I work up the nerve to go complain about anything, just to see
I
if
can
they'll
just
offer
like
me anything.
picture you like stuttering as you walk up to the
You
front
know,
of it.
I'm not usually the type that will do that, but in the name of research, I might just go ask them about it to see if what kind of allowances they're making for people.
I'd say
So
you take advantage of like club level at the other hotel before you go over there and ask.
yeah,
Give you some quick
yeah,
courage.
right.
I'm not promoting alcohol consumption on this channel. I'm going to look at some more comments. Scott was talking more about gluten sensitivities and talking about going to Boma instead for breakfast and dinner. Brian, are you seeing any comments that you want to address?
I haven't. My comment stream on my computer keeps freezing for some reason. I have to keep reloading it, and it's very annoying. But so I should probably just start looking at the phone again. I did see the post you posted on Facebook earlier today. Had a few, including one about animals at Disney resorts, which we may as well just get out of the way now. Right?
Yeah, let's just do it. I wrote it down and in my notes, and I didn't put any comments underneath because I'm like, well, this could go either way. So
It's funny. I did the weekly news that I post on our YouTube channel. There wasn't a lot yesterday, but the first one was the about the dogs. And story is, for anybody that's watching this that hasn't heard, if you're active on Facebook in theme park channels, I guarantee you've heard already. But 4 of the Disney resorts are going to allow dogs, up to 2 dogs per room for an extra fee, and it is Yacht Club, Art of Animation, Port Orleans Riverside, and Fort Wilderness. So this was more controversial than I think Disney expected it to be, certainly than I expected it to be. A lot of hotels do allow dogs, not at Disney World. In fact, many more than half do. So I kind of thought it would just be like, oh, they're doing this, but people were really not very happy about this. So in the video I did yesterday, I said the story, and I actually had a part in there where I said, oh, let me know in the comments below what you think, and I cut that part out because I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I really want
it's gonna be
a
a
million
bloodbath.
comments about this, and I got some. I mean, everybody's very respectful that watches our videos, which is very nice. But
Yeah, really
still, it gets interesting. So, what are I am a dog owner, so
and
I'm sure
not,
I'm
so these
biased. So what are your feelings on it?
All right. Well, I always try to be as honest as possible with all of you guys because me lying to you on camera, it doesn't do anyone any favors. So first of all, I'm afraid of dogs. I am, just because I never really grew up with them. They're very happy and they
I'm
jump on
looking
me.
for one.
I don't know what to do when they jump on me. But I don't really have an issue with them being at the resorts, and the reason is because there's certain rules that they have to follow, like keeping the dog on a leash, which I'm sure the cast members will be like pretty good and diligent about because that's a liability.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's going to be sections of the resort that's just for dogs as far as the rooms.
Yeah,
So,
seems that way.
so people with allergies are not going to be in that section. Even if you tell the hotel I have pet allergies, they're not going to put you anywhere near there. They're going to be pretty good about that. So the fact that it's sectioned off, and like Brian said, so many hotels, including Universal, it's pet friendly. So they've learned how to clean the rooms appropriately. They have a protocol, stuff like that. So I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not planning on ever really bringing my dogs to Disney World. I can't imagine necessarily why I would fly them down there just to be closer to me. But and one of mine especially, actually both of mine, one is a little yippy terrier, so he would drive everyone nuts. And the other one is very, very calm, and she'd be fine in the room all day, except that she does like to growl and bark at noises she hears. So anybody walking by the room, she would probably start barking at. And yeah, most of the complaints we've heard are obviously the allergies, which is, of course, a perfectly legitimate complaint. But we already talked about how great Disney is with food allergies. I can't imagine they haven't considered pet allergies as well. Like I say, it seems like they're going to block them off into certain areas. anybody that's watching this that does have a pet allergy or just doesn't want to be anywhere near the dogs, make sure you say that when you request a room, because I'm sure that's something that they're going to be dealing with a lot. Um, yeah, the barking and that kind of stuff, I'm curious to kind of see how that goes. I want to see what happens if they have a dog that's just bark, 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 bark all day when the people aren't in the room, whether they will actually call those people and say, you need to come back here, like your dog's, we keep getting complaints about your dog. And if those people don't come back, then what will happen? Because I don't know that, I don't know exactly what Disney can do there other than keep asking them to come back.
Or make the guests leave, or,
yeah.
Julia, she's excellent blogger here with TouringPlans. She did a very great article that I did link in the comments all about the concerns that you might have, because Brian and I could literally talk about this all day, from the fact that, there's going to be a special pet rate that you have to pay if you're going to bring your animal, to how often you have to check on your dog, to what kind of paperwork you need to bring with you if you're driving and you're crossing state lines and all that stuff. So I linked that article. I really think it's worth looking into, especially if you're someone that's concerned about this new policy or this new thing that they're doing. I think that will ease a lot of your anxieties if that's something that you're worried about. So I did link that, and I really suggest checking that out. It's very well done.
And Talana, I think what Angela was saying, it's not that they won't put people with dogs in the dog-friendly section, just that if you specifically tell them you don't want to be there, there is a section that you can avoid. I think if you don't say anything, they would just put anybody in those rooms, which is how most you go, like Ritz-Carlton hotels, the Lowe's hotels that are at Universal, they don't block those rooms off as far as I know. I think it's just, or they have floors. I don't remember exactly how they do it, but it's wide swaths of rooms that they will put dogs in. So most of the time people don't notice, I think.
Yeah, and this is not the first hotel that's ever had pets before. This has been around for a very long time. It's not new. It's just
and it's only 4 out of the 23, 24 resorts, something like that. So it's not that big a deal, I don't think, but we'll see. I guess we'll see soon.
I know. To be continued. I just want to address Amanda's and Francis's comments. They used our reservation finder, our dining reservation finder. Had really great luck. Francis got a reservation for Christmas Eve. Amanda got a reservation at Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest. I talk about our reservation finder a lot, not because I work for TouringPlans, but because it's amazing. I have gotten reservations the week before for Be Our Guest for 8 people, character meals like Chef Mickey's days before my trip. So something to really look into. And Linda said, is the Disney Photo Pass worth the money? I think it is. If you are doing, a lengthy trip with your family, maybe 5 to 7 days, and you really want to get those professional pictures done while you're at the parks or when you see a Photo Pass photographer, I think it's worth it. And then you get access to all those digital photos. But maybe if you're going for 1 or 2 days, I don't think it's worth it. You could just take your own pictures. What do you think, Brian?
I only ever paid for it once years ago, and it's like that we were there for I think 10 days and we were with my parents and that, and we actually didn't use it as much as we had intended to. We we tried to make a point to stop and get family photos taken, but a lot of times we were either in a hurry to go somewhere or there would be a line and we just kind of skip it. And at the end of the trip, we really didn't have as many family photos as we thought we did. And the PhotoPass photographers will use your camera as well. So, if you only want a few or, but it depends if you like that sort of thing, if you want a lot of family photos, if you like the special photos they have where it looks like Tinkerbell is in your hands, things like that, and you plan on doing that, then yeah, it's worth paying for in advance if you think you're going to use it a lot. And you probably know. I mean, I knew going in that we were going to have to make an effort to use it because we're not really that type of family generally, and we didn't make enough of an effort. So
well, first of all, my aunt's joining me, and it's her birthday today, so I have to say happy birthday, Jeannie.
Happy
Um,
birthday, Jeannie.
she's
I
going
don't
in
know,
two
Jeannie.
weeks with her daughter on a mother-daughter trip, and they're going to do some cooking demos at Epcot for Food and Wine, so that's really
Nice.
exciting. But my brother is bringing his family. They have a family of 8. And they decided to do PhotoPass because how many times are you all together in your family of
Mm-hmm.
8? And they want to meet a lot of characters because this is their first time going.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
and I think the kids are going to do Bippity Boppity Boutique, which I believe there's a photographer there
Mm-hmm.
too that takes
Yep.
pictures and documents the experience. When my son got his first haircut, we had a Disney photographer who documented that. So that's when I think it's worth it. You know, those kind of special things, or if you're meeting a lot of characters, which Talana
In
points
the
out.
in the characters, what's nice is that they start taking the pictures as the kids are walking up to the characters, so you
Yeah.
get some pretty funny pictures that way of them
Mm-hmm.
either looking very excited or very frightened, depending. And those all get uploaded too, which that's
Right.
tougher to do with your camera because you have to run around them and do the same thing, which I've
Oh yeah.
done.
And
But
like either one of you's like bringing the kid over, or one of you's
mm-hmm.
holding like the autograph book and the backpack and the phone. So yeah, I agree with you there too. All right. Well, I did answer all of your questions that you guys asked yesterday. So let's get to a few of those. And Brian, I could definitely use your help with some of these. I really liked Simone's question because it's a really difficult one to answer. She said, I only have one day to go to the parks on December 27th. Which park to visit or park hop? And it's a tricky question because the crowds are going to be 10 out of 10 at every park except for Hollywood Studios, which is going to be a 9 out of 10. So
Yeah, and that would not be my recommendation necessarily, is to go to Hollywood Studios. But I mean, which park to visit is tough, and it depends a lot on the situation and how often you've been there. I mean, if this is your one day in, your 10 years or lifetime or something like that, the park with the most to do in it is going to be Magic Kingdom. And that's of course the classic park. So I think that would probably be a good one. And usually that time of year, and I think the hours just got updated, Magic Kingdom should open it at 8 that day. Now it will have an extra magic hour on it. I think Magic Kingdom has morning extra magic hour every day. So, but it will open at 8. I think Animal Kingdom probably will too. But you can get there early, spend a few hours before it starts getting crazy busy. If it was me, I visit the parks more often than most, so I don't feel like I have to do everything. And I see somebody, Scott here, also pointed out that at Magic Kingdom they do all the Christmas stuff like that they would normally do during the Christmas party, like the Christmas parade, and that at Magic Kingdom too during that week is just the regular parade. What I would probably do is go to the Magic Kingdom in the morning for a few hours, ride as much as I could, pick 5 or 6 attractions that you definitely want to do those, then go to one of the parks that maybe you just want to enjoy the atmosphere. Animal Kingdom is great for that. Right now, you can walk around Pandora, the Africa and Asia sections are great without necessarily riding a ton, because by midday, it's going to be really, really long waits. You're going to probably only be able to do 1 or 2 things. And then, or Epcot if you want to enjoy World Showcase, something like that. And then you can always go to the Magic Kingdom in the evening again for the Holiday Wishes fireworks and that kind of stuff. So that would probably be what I would do, is start and end at Magic Kingdom, and in the middle, pick somewhere that you just kind of want to see without necessarily things you want to ride. Because being on the rides is going to be the tough part. So.
See, I have a different opinion only for the fact that 3:30 parade, I think it's 3:30, it's the Christmas party parade. And if that's something you don't get to see other times of the year,
yeah,
and you don't
that's
get
true.
to see it if you're not paying for the party. So I would almost start at somewhere like Epcot, where you can walk around, do the World Showcase, get that atmosphere in, and then go for the parade. And then you could stay until fireworks, but don't expect to really go on many rides.
Another good option too that time of year, I mean, the resorts have fantastic Christmas decorations. So if you like that sort of thing, if you want to either save the park hopper money
Hmm.
or just need a break and don't want to go that far away, if you're, go to some of the nearby resorts. The Grand Floridian has the giant tree and the gingerbread house. If you're in Epcot,
Oh yeah.
Beach and Yacht Club are decorated really nicely. You can head over to Wilderness Lodge. Animal Kingdom Lodge is great. So that's another option as far as if you just want to kind of enjoy the Christmas season, which is really nice.
And that atmosphere, like you said, and this kind of is a good segue. I always say segue whenever we do our streams together. I think it makes me feel fancy. But it's a good segue into this ultimate Christmas package. Have you guys heard of this? It's relatively new. I'll briefly kind of explain it to you. So basically, it's this package that you can book through Disney, and it includes your park tickets, your room, and then each day of your stay is a different perk. So it's from like what December 21st to the 26th. So the 21st, you would each get a ticket to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. 22nd, you would get extra magic hours to walk around Pandora. 23rd, special character experience at Hollywood Studios. Christmas Eve dinner at Epcot on the 24th, obviously. And then on the 25th, Christmas, you would get a holiday gift delivered to your room. So it's this whole like vacation package that you can book just for the Christmas season. And Tom wanted to know what we thought about it. So that's kind of what it is. Brian, what do you think?
What are the prices on that? Do you have any idea? I can't look
Okay.
because Disney's website has been down all day, so I can't look at anything right now.
The information that I read the article. It was like for a moderate resort for a family of four, so two adults, a junior, and a child. It was like $2,700 for those 5 days, 21st to the 26th. Which I mean, if that includes the Christmas party tickets, a gift, you know, Christmas Eve dinner, if that's included, it's not terrible for a family of four. But
No,
I mean,
no,
if
because I
you
mean
do
you're
want to,
talking $400 just for the Christmas party.
yeah.
Oh, good. This site has ads that play music. I'm on some other site now because Disney's site isn't working today.
I'll
It
keep
hasn't been
talking.
working all day. It's annoying.
Okay.
Um, let's see. It says it starts at $139 per person per night. Um,
Yeah, that's what I read too.
so for a total price of $2,775 at Coronado Springs. So yeah, I mean, 130. So you're talking, what, to a 560 a night for Coronado Springs. That's not terrible for what you get. That's about double what the room price would be that time of year, probably. But like I
Mhm.
said, it includes the
Tickets,
party
park.
tickets.
Ooh, park
Um, you
hopper
know,
too. I should mention that park hopper.
yeah. So I don't. That doesn't sound that bad actually.
Mm-mm.
Um, Saratoga and Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're up to 3,700, almost 3,800. So. Um, Yeah, I mean, if it's one of those things. If you're going that time of year and you want to make it like a special holiday thing, um, then yeah, that it doesn't sound as bad as I would have guessed. If you had asked me to pick a price for this, I would have guessed it was like $1,000 a night, honestly.
Yeah.
So for less for 600, it kind of sounds like a bargain, but that's
It
just
kind of
compared
sounds
to
too good to be
$100
true.
tickets for everything else.
Yeah, it sounds too good to be true. I mean, yeah, you're going during a very busy time of year. It's going to be high crowds, no doubt. But for what you're getting and just the fact that you're going for Christmas and if you take away maybe doing any Christmas presents for your family at all, I really don't think that's that bad. Now,
Yeah.
would I do it myself? Probably not, just because I like celebrating Christmas with all of my family members and all of my siblings and extended family.
We'll pay for
But
all of them to go. That's fine.
I know I could do that too. But yeah, I would say that with that price range, it's pretty tempting, honestly.
Yeah, it's I don't think I would do it, but I'm very anti crowds, so I try not to go at all during Christmas week. We've talked about it because my kids are off school and my wife actually doesn't have to work that week.
Oh, nice.
So we've discussed the possibility, and every time we look at it, I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. So
yeah, the crowds would be a little too stressful for my husband. I just think he couldn't do it. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting, and I think that it's a really good deal for what you're getting. But I understand that still, even
it's,
2,700 is.
I don't know if I'd go really good, but it's I can understand. Like I can look at it and say, okay, I see where the value in this is coming from. At least, like I wouldn't pay that and think like, wow, this is a steal. But I also wouldn't feel like I got completely ripped off by it. I don't think. Now, some of it depends on what they give you. If the gift they bring you is like one set of ears on Christmas morning, I might still be a little ticked off about that. But
no, that's what I was just gonna say. It depends, like where at Epcot this Christmas Eve meal is, like what it includes, and what your gift is. If your gift is something silly, like you said, like one pair of ears, if it's one pair of ears for everyone,
yeah, that would just be funny. I see. Rose asked a question about the dining plan and whether she still has to carry her ID to order alcohol. This is for the 2018 dining plan, which will include for adults over age 21. Obviously, it's the drinking age in the U.S. For anybody not watching from the U.S., you get one alcoholic drink with your meal. For underage or people who don't want an alcoholic drink, you can get, I mean, the normal soft drinks, but they will also have specialty drinks, which this is kind of a guess still, but we're thinking, milkshakes or, non-alcoholic versions of mixed drinks, things like that. My guess is that, yes, you probably should still have your ID. It's been, I don't get carded at Disney World anymore, so Angela probably still does, but I would say you should probably carry it just in case, because especially with more alcohol being given out for dining plan members, I wouldn't be shocked if the rule turned into card everyone just in case, at least for a little while until they made sure no one was sneaking in.
Brian, I think you've done a video very similar to Amanda's question. Any ideas on the crowd on opening night of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party?
It won't be. I have my YouTube channel. I have a video about it. I also do an annual blog post about the most and least crowded parties. The early parties are never bad. That goes for Halloween party and Christmas party. The first handful of them are some of the more lower attended parties. The very first one sometimes gets a little tricky because you get a lot of locals, people like us that cover things like that, that will be there. It doesn't make up a huge percentage of the population, so it doesn't usually impact it that much. But every once in a while, the first party can be a little bit excuse me, a little bit. Angela cleared my throat, and all of a sudden mine choked up. Maybe
I think
now I think she's a witch. But so usually for the best ones, we'll recommend like the second or third party, or I think this year, because it starts on a Thursday, so I think there's a party the following Tuesday. I think that might be the one that I said we think will be the lowest one. But midweek parties, early parties are the best ones to go to. And I'll actually be at the first Christmas party this year for Touring Plans. I will also have a video about that. The next morning, I should have a sort of walk around vlog up in place of my weekly top 5, because I don't think I'll be coherent enough at midnight to edit together a top 5 video. So it will probably be a very loosely edited look at the first Christmas party this year. So anybody that's there, I will be wearing a red Touring Plan shirt and pointing a camera at my face most of the time. So say hi.
When am I going to get one of those? You
I don't know.
Because like Brian's had this cool Touring Plans shirt for years now, and I still haven't gotten one. I've been with you guys 3 years. I'll wear it at the parks, I promise. Brian will be at the first party. I will be at the one on November 14th.
Oh, that's the Tuesday one. Yeah, that's the one. I'm pretty sure that's the one that we think will be the least crowded one. So you can tell us if we're right.
I know. And I linked to Brian's video in the comments if you want to watch it. And I just realized I have to make a Christmas party video, so I'm going to write that down for myself.
Yeah, no, when I say to caveat, like the crowd level gets tricky because the ride they cap the number of people that can go into the park. We don't know what that number is. It might be 30,000, it might be 40,000. We think the capacity for the Magic Kingdom is like 90,000, so that's still not a lot relative to what it could be. But so the wait times for the attractions that are open are super low. They're 10-15 minutes for almost everything. Occasionally, like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train will get up to like 25 or something. But like the parade and the fireworks will still be pretty crowded because everybody that's in the park will be doing that because that's what you're there for. So, so when I say least crowded, I don't mean it's going to be like nobody there. It just will be, you know, it probably won't sell out. Well, it won't sell out. If it sells out, that means it's maximum crowds. So it won't sell out. It will be a little bit more breathing room. The wait times instead of 10 minutes might be 7 minutes or something like that, you know, so it's all relative.
And I have a video that I talked about it last year. I will make another one this year, and I do kind of cover those little tips, like the second parade is usually less crowded than the first because everyone's leaving after the fireworks and stuff like that. So we will do a video. In the meantime, send me a heart if you have been to the Christmas party. I went for the first time last year. It was amazing. So for my parents' 60th birthdays, they're going to come. We're all going to do that together. So nice. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I was only there once in 2013, 14, somewhere in that range somewhere. We went on to the first the Sunday after Thanksgiving. It was the first party after the Thanksgiving break. Not one I would recommend. That is a busy. This was before I believe I started doing my annual post on which were the busiest. So I learned the hard way that one is not, because they don't do Christmas parties at all during Thanksgiving week. So the one right before and right after tend to get a lot of that crowd. So one other thing I point out about the Christmas party, just while I'm thinking of it, if you are there during, and this goes for the Halloween party as well, if you are there during party times and not going to a party, watch out for like the happily ever after fireworks on those off days, because what happens, especially the Christmas party, they really pack in because they only have from November 9th, I think it starts, 8th, I think it starts this year. And they stop them December 21st-ish usually. So they only have a few, 5 weeks or so, or 6 weeks to stick them all in, and they don't do them over Thanksgiving week. So they'll have some weeks they'll have them Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. What that means is that those other 3 days that the regular fireworks are showing are crazy crowded with people seeing the fireworks, because if you could be there for 5 days and only have one shot to see the happily ever after fireworks. So be ready for that. There's not really any advice that we can give, because there's no days that are going to be better, other than if you happen to hit a time where there's no parties on a Wednesday and Thursday, that Thursday will probably be a little bit better, but it's still just be aware of it.
That's good advice. I didn't even think about that. And also the fact that a party night, the park closes at 7 if you don't have a ticket.
6 with the Christmas parties. They moved it up.
They did?
Mm-hmm. Halloween parties, they're still closing at 7. For the Christmas parties, they're closing at 6 now. There's a few things that we've heard about this. I don't know if all or none of them are true, but what we've heard is that basically that they either decided on their own or were getting complaints about too many people staying in the parks during the parties. So people would either make a late dining reservation and kind of mosey their way out, or would intentionally try to game the system to walk around the parks. You can't ride any rides if you don't have the wristband. In fact, you can't really go past the hub, but if you're already past the hub and avoid the hub, you can kind of still walk around a lot. So what we've heard is that that's just an extra hour that they can sweep people out of the parks. Plus, the dining reservation system, they didn't want to stop taking dining reservations at 6. So by closing the park at 6, now the last reservation you can get is 5:55, and then they don't start again until I don't know if it's 7 or 7:15, something like that. So if you have a dining reservation, and this is something I've done before, is make that 6:55 dining reservation at Be Our Guest, and then you get out and it's like 8 o'clock and you basically get to walk through the party on your way out. Now that reservation will be 5:55, so by the time you're leaving, it'll basically be party start time. As far as we know, they're not going to make everybody leave, only the people without wristbands. So you kind of get an extra hour on the party than you would before, but we're not really going to know how that works until the first Christmas party when it actually happens. So,
well, and also keep in mind that if you have a party ticket, this goes for Halloween too, you can enter Magic Kingdom as early as 4 p.m. So you could just save a day's park pass and just go from 4 p.m. to midnight, and you'd still get like 8 hours at the Magic Kingdom, and then getting shorter lines too. So I think that's a really good kind of Disney hack that I've definitely taken advantage of before.
That's actually not bad, especially if, say, you were only going to be there for a day, and the choices are paying a one-day ticket, or a party ticket, and they're about the same price. You probably would actually get more value out of the party ticket if you could be there until midnight, because the lines would be way shorter. So
that's what my friend ended up doing. I suggested that to her because she was doing Universal and Disney, and she only had one day, and I said, well, the park ticket's going to be over $100, and at the time I think the party ticket was $80. So
there's a few years ago then.
This was about 2 or 3 years ago. So.
Because they're up to, I don't know, 105, I think, for the busiest days. So
well, yeah, and I guess it depends when you go too. Let's see, Amanda, I've heard that the fenced-in area in front of Casey's looks like a reserved area to watch fireworks, but it's really not, and a good place to stand. Any ideas about this? I know the fenced-in area on the other side is reserved for the dessert fireworks party. What do you think? I
don't know. I haven't heard that.
I stand kind of behind, I guess, the Walt statue, kind of back there when I watch the fireworks, because that always seems to be a good view for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that that's a reserved area. It's hard to tell. There's so many of them now because you can get different dining packages and things and all that stuff. So it could be something like that, or it could just be it could be Fast Pass. It could be lots of stuff. I don't know offhand what that side would be for, because that honestly, a lot of the reserved viewing areas I don't love. A lot of them are off center, and if we do the dessert party, the Tomorrowland Terrace dessert party, that's very off center. Like it's great because you're not fighting people for spots, but you're very, very off center. So it looks like the fireworks are coming from like way on the side of the castle. It's kind of odd. Yeah, I mean, I always stand somewhere halfway down Main Street or so. We don't like to get there particularly early, so we'll just kind of walk into wherever we find a space like 10 minutes before, and if I have to, I'll just, hold the kids up and not on my shoulders, head height. But, and then that way it's an easier getaway, because usually with the kids, we're usually leaving right after the fireworks anyway, so.
Exactly. Yeah, it really just depends how important you getting a good seat is and a good spot for both the parade and the fireworks. It just depends. We have a few more questions. Let's see. Michael asked about an update on the minivans, and I was curious about that too because I hadn't heard much. It seems like all of the updates with the minivans and their expansions are kind of done quietly because it's still technically in testing mode. They have expanded. So right now, they were at Yon Beach and the boardwalk, and then they expanded to Wilderness Lodge, and now they're at Animal Kingdom Lodge, the Grand Floridian, if I didn't say that, and then the Polynesian. So they have expanded. What is that? All of the deluxe resorts then?
Yeah, not counting the DVC only. Yeah, like Saratoga and Old Key West are DVC resorts and not deluxe. I don't know. The nomenclature is crazy, but yeah, that's the rest of the deluxe. So.
So, and he wanted to know, can I get a code to do the minivans if I'm not staying there? And the answer is no. Right now, it's just for guests staying at those resorts. And you can go to the concierge or the front desk, and they'll help you, get it figured out on your phone so that you can book your
Yeah,
own.
they have to activate it on the app for you to
Hmm.
use it. One thing I'm curious about, and I will probably try it when I'm there because I'm staying at Yacht and Beach
Yeah,
First, which it allows, or that have the minivan access. I'm curious if I stay there and they activate it, then when I move to like Art of Animation, if I'll still be able to use it, or if it will shut off when I check out of the resort.
like if it's like a dated thing, like
Yeah, I wonder if it's by day or if like once they turn it on, if it's good for 7 days or something like that. So
well, and then
I'll
would you just go over to one of those deluxe resorts and then have them take you anywhere if you did want to?
I mean, that's the other thing I wonder is how, like, if you go to the concierge, do they ask for your room number before they do it, or will they just do it? Because if I'm not mistaken, you can also take it back to the resort. Like, you can take it anywhere to anywhere. So
Yeah,
if you're at the Magic Kingdom and going to, like, if you're at the Magic Kingdom and going to Pop Century, but you're staying at the Yacht Club, I think that's allowed.
yeah, because it's anywhere on property, or even if you were at Art of Animation,
Yeah.
wanted to go to Magic Kingdom, they could bring you to
You
like,
just have to be a resort guest of those deluxe resorts, I think, is
oh,
how the wording works. But I'm
contemporary.
not sure. I'm not sure if you have to go to or from one of the deluxe resorts, or you can go from one point to another. I don't know. There's a lot of questions about the minivans that they really have not given a lot of information
No, they've
on.
been
So,
very quiet. And we didn't include the contemporary. That is not on the list yet for the minivans, but that is a
mm,
deluxe
mhm.
resort. So I had to say that before I forgot. Brian, I think this is a good answer or a good question for you. It's from, I hope I'm saying your name right, Neva? Neva? What do you think will happen with tiers at Epcot and Hollywood Studios with the opening of Toy Story Land, Star Wars Land, and Guardians of the Galaxy?
um, that is a good question. And one second, because Kathy says that she used the minivans from like Cabin Creek at Wilderness Lodge in September, and they were just at Coronado Springs last week, and it didn't show up as an option in the app. So it at least turns itself off after some period of time. If they were smart, they would tie it to your hotel reservation, so that when you check out, it clears it, or at least at midnight on checkout day or something like that, like your park tickets would work. But I'll be curious. Yeah, I'll have to try. Oh, it did show up. I'm sorry. Oh, she says it did show up as an option in the app. I'm sorry, I misread that. So it sounds like maybe once they turn it on, it's just on. That's interesting. I will
It,
definitely, I will extensively test that for sure.
and
So,
yeah, she is right. It does also come to those Copper Creek cabins and those villas, Boulder Ridge.
Boulder Ridge, yeah.
Um, it goes to those too.
And I for the life of me cannot remember which is Boulder Ridge and which one is Copper Creek, but
Have you
it's one
seen?
of those two.
I'm gonna ask all of you. Have you guys seen the pictures of the Copper Creek cabins? My uncle and my aunt recently just stayed there in September, and then I think in July,
Yeah,
um, they kind of did a
they're
DVC.
gorgeous.
Oh my gosh. They have blinds that are electric that and the ceilings are
Ooh,
really high and the windows go up that high too and like they're electric curtains. I don't know why I think that's so cool. That go down and they have like you can do like full darkening them or just, blocking the sun options. There's a hot tub in there. You have a really nice view of the water. It's just like they're just stunning and so
I
much
need
room too.
I need blinds like that for in here because the sun keeps shifting and I keep getting darker and darker.
I can't make myself not bright. I have the blinds down. It's not working for me.
But anyway, so back to the tiers at Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So right now, they have the fast passes at both of those parks and at Animal Kingdom are all tiered. So for instance, Animal Kingdom, it's just the two Pandora attractions. You can't get fast passes for both of them in advance. You have to pick one, pick Flight of Passage if you can, by the way. Um, for Epcot, the top tier is Soarin', Test Track, Frozen Ever After. I don't remember, Illuminations maybe. I don't
How do
remember.
you remember that?
That I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's those three. Well, it's because it's all the ones that you would want to pick. Because if you could pick anything from Epcot, you would most people would probably pick Test Track, Soarin', and Frozen Ever After as their three fast passes, so they can't allow that. Hollywood Studios, it is Rock and Roller Coaster, Toy Story Midway Mania.
Tower of Terror?
No, Tower of Terror is not in the top tier because you can get both Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror fast passes.
Well, that's awesome.
And Star Tours is not in the top tier either. So it's definitely Toy Story Midway Mania and Rock and Roller Coaster, and then throw-ins. I feel like maybe Beauty and the Beast is in there, things like that. So I don't know that. I don't know if Guardians of the Galaxy, the roller coaster that's coming where Ellen's Energy Adventure was in Epcot, that will almost certainly be a top tier attraction. I'm not sure whether it will actually affect that tier much or whether they'll just add that in there as another one. I wouldn't be shocked if they bumped either Soarin' or Test Track out of it. Test Track would be my guess. Frozen Ever After I don't think will be because the other presumably the Guardians ride will have a height requirement. So does Test Track, so does Soarin', which means anybody that has smaller children will pick Frozen. So they're not going to bump that out of the top tier. But I could see maybe Test Track getting dropped out of that. So you'd have to choose between Guardians, Frozen, and Soarin'. And then for Hollywood Studios, I don't know that the Toy Story Land will really affect it because both of the rides going in there are meant for smaller children. I could see them maybe putting one of them in there, like Slinky Dog Coaster, just so that people couldn't, well, no, because either way they'd have to put both of them in there or people would be able to get both of those as fast passes anyway. So I don't see them putting both of them in there. So I don't think that's going to affect. Star Wars will 100% affect the tiers. I would be shocked if both Star Wars attractions weren't in the top tier just to keep people from automatically picking both of those, at least for a little while. Same with, I think that's how Animal Kingdom will go. In time, I could see Animal Kingdom going back to no tiers, which is what they were before Pandora opened. Just right now, they are trying to keep people from being able to fast pass both Pandora attractions, which is kind of funny because it's almost impossible to fast pass both of them anyway, because by the time you reserve one and go back, the other one's gone anyway. So, but I could see, and Magic Kingdom doesn't have tiers because they have enough attractions that to use fast pass. There's not any that people focus on like there are in the other parks. So it will, I think both of those additions will affect the tiers. I don't think it will make that much difference with touring. You're still going to probably want to pick the newest attraction as your top fast pass because it will pull people away from all the older ones, at least for the first year or so.
Yeah. That was a good answer, Brian.
Thank you.
That was good.
My answers are always way too detailed. So especially when I'm doing this by myself and I'm I get through like 4 questions because each answer is 20 minutes long.
Well, I never know what I should do. So I just kind of look at the camera and try to like nod because I'm like, well, I mean, he's talking, but it's a good answer. Okay, so I have 2 more questions that you guys asked ahead of time, and then if you have any more comments, we will address those. So this is a question from Megan. She has like the coolest name ever, Fitzpatrick Lovejoy. It's a cool name, Megan. Now that park hours have been changed for November and December, and extra magic hours is 7 a.m., how crowded do you think it'll be? I assume she's talking about Magic Kingdom. We need those for our touring plan, but that makes for a pretty early morning. TouringPlans says that if we go at 8 a.m., regular park opening, then our plan hasn't changed. Is that accurate? So, Brian, as far as the touring plan portion, you're going to know a lot more about that than I will. As far as the crowds, I think it just kind of depends on the day. If you're looking at crowd levels.
I mean, it will help because, fewer people will get up an hour earlier than would have, there will be less people at 7 than there would have been at 8 and at 8 versus 9. So if you're willing to get up at, 5:30 or 6 in the morning to get up to the Magic Kingdom for extra magic hour, there will not be a ton of people there for the first 2 hours or so. So that will help a lot.
Yeah.
especially that early. Like, it's hard enough for a lot of people on vacation to get up for a 9 a.m. opening, let alone 7.
Hmm.
The touring plans part, it's possible our models haven't updated fully yet. Um, it should, if you had your plan starting at 8 a.m. before with extra magic hour, and now it's starting at 8 a.m. at regular opening, those numbers should be a little bit different. Probably not by a lot, honestly, because like I said, there's not going to be a ton of people in the park that early. But yeah, if that doesn't change, I'll run a couple tests on that and make sure that that has changed since you wrote that, because that should change.
I would say just, yeah, around those times, again, depending, because I was looking at the November and December crowds, and some I was seeing a 3 and a 4 on the crowd level, and then I would see spikes around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then there'd be a random 7 for no
Mm-hmm.
reason. So it just depends on the crowds, but just as a rule of thumb, you're just going to get to do more if you do those extra magic hours, especially if it's at 7 a.m. because,
Mm-hmm.
like Brian said, not a lot of people are going to want to get up that early, so you're going to have a pretty open park. And then you have the option to leave like late morning or early afternoon when it gets busier, because you'll have
Yeah.
already done a lot during the day, and then you can take a nap since it
Mm-hmm.
is an early day.
Yeah, you take a nap, you go swimming for a little while, and it's a much more relaxed day than fighting through crowds of people at noon.
Yeah, just get Starbucks or Joffrey's and just head on over. And then let's see, this is my final question that you guys asked ahead of time from John. We are considering skipping Navi River Journey to ride Kilimanjaro Safari several times in the morning for our trip in January. Um, their spouse loves the safari ride, so is this foolish? Is what John wants to know. Um, I think that sounds like a good idea if that's something your spouse likes. I mean, why not? We would always choose Flight of Passage over Navi River Journey anyway, just because generally it's just a better ride and there's more to see. Um, and yeah, so if that's what you want to do and you're willing to give up Navi River Journey, well, I stuttered, Navi River Journey, then go ahead and do that. I mean, who's saying you can't?
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, like I said, I don't know that Navi River Journey is one that I would ever say to somebody like you have to ride that. Like Flight of Passage, I generally, unless they have like, real like heights or claustrophobia or motion
Mm-hmm.
sickness issues, um, I think everybody should at least try to get on Flight of Passage once. Navi River Journey, I mean, it's a nice ride. It's a pleasant boat ride through the forests of Pandora. But if you think you'd be happier just doing safaris, I'm not going to argue with you, honestly.
No.
I think the Kilimanjaro Safari is a better attraction than Navi River Journey without question, I think. So if you want to do that more times, that I'm not going to fight you on it.
Yeah, I don't think it's foolish. I think if it's what your family wants to do, then it's your trip. Do what you want. I see a couple more questions in the comments, so we will address those. And then I think we'll wrap up here. So Talana says, because of the 10:37 same day Flight of Passage drop, should I not get Navi River Journey at 60 days if I can't get Flight of Passage? Well, couldn't you just, Brian, couldn't you get Navi River Journey and then just change it once the fast
Yeah,
pass drops?
that's probably what I would do, because in the app you can modify the fast passes. So if you have a Navi River Journey and you hit modify and go to choose another attraction, that Flight of Passage will show up if it's available. So I would still try to get Navi River Journey, and you can always change it later.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking too. Um,
See, Megan's husband has a similar experience with Navi River Journey, where it said, "Is that it?" And it is. That's actually one of my. I like the ride. I think it's a useful type of attraction. It loads fairly quickly. It's for all ages. It's a little short, I think. There's not a lot of there, which is my biggest problem with it. I kind of wish it was like twice as long, honestly.
I've
But
heard that about Frozen Ever After too, that it's really short. Is that true? I've
It's
been on it.
it's longer than Maelstrom was, but Maelstrom was real short.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised with Frozen Ever After. I think they, for what they had, they did a really good job with it. Yeah, same thing. I would have liked it to be longer, but there they were dealing with a different set of constraints because it was an existing building.
Right.
Um, so with Navi River Journey, it was a brand new building. I'm not sure why they couldn't have made it another, 45 seconds to a minute longer or something. So,
Well, they're designing it from scratch, so
yeah.
they could have done more with it, but we didn't design it. Let's see. We can only see Pandora for half a day. Is it better in the morning or at night? It just depends if you want to see the bioluminescent plants at night.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can only do it for half a day, if you are, um, if you can manage to get a Flight of Passage fast pass for the evening, that's the best of both worlds,
Yeah.
because then you can at least ride that attraction and see the bioluminescent plant life. If you can't get that and don't want to wait several hours, because it'll be 90 to 90 minutes or more, depending on what time you go. Then you kind of have to pick between whether you'd rather see the plants or whether you'd rather ride Flight of Passage with less pain. But I've heard that if you get to Flight of Passage like right before they close, like 15, 30 minutes before, when they're, at least while they're still taking, that the wait will only, you can get a wait that's like 30 or 45 minutes, which for that is not bad.
No.
So, I mean, you could try something like that, but there wouldn't be any guarantee that that would actually happen. So, it's tough. I would probably say, I mean, it depends. It's hard to say. I like Flight of Passage a lot. The bioluminescence, I think, was really cool, but it was also I felt Pandora was much more crowded in the evening than it was in the mornings when we were there. So, it was not as enjoyable an experience because there was a lot of people, and it's not super bright in there. So there's a lot of people bumping into each other and not looking where they're going because there's other stuff to look at. And so it was a little bit annoying, I found, being there in the evening, but it was pretty, really pretty.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make it when I'm there. I don't know what the plan is. When you have small children, you kind of go off of their itinerary and their plans. So I'll see if I make it there. I think my kids would love the safari. My daughter's been on it. My son has not. So something we can do. It's after, for you, it's after 1 o'clock. For me, it's afternoon. So we're going to wrap things up. But as always, I always go through the comments after the stream and answer what I can. This will be uploaded to YouTube if you want to watch it later. Although if you're on Facebook, you can watch it here later too, whatever you want to do. But thank you so much, Brian, for joining me.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you next time. Bye.